What's good, folk? Welcome to Shinobi Studies. Let's get right into it with my takeaways from Boruto 2 Blue Vortex in our most recent chapter. Now, watching the teamwork used to defeat major threats in this recent chapter was definitely what made this chapter excellent. And I think we'll be given the most attention deservedly, but my favorite and most powerful moment came from the setup that was planted discreetly that we eventually show Boruto's acceptance and redemption from his former childhood friends, and it's centered around Sumire, and how Kishimoto has intelligently placed Sumire to have a pivotal impact on how omnipotence will eventually lose its relevance and influence around central characters in Boruto. This will cause a rift that I think will ultimately corner Kawaki, setting up his eventual vendetta against the world of Shinobi. I'll prove that Kishimoto was absolutely intentional with this direction that I'm trying to imply. Now, before I go into this dialogue from some specific panels that feature Sumire, I'll show what was done, how you can accomplish this, and what might probably happen next, changing the events that will play out in this aftermath of the introduction of the Shinju's Konoha invasion. So, how do you influence a point of view to others without attacking what an individual or group of people know or feel is their truth? A book called Unconscious Branding by an author called Douglas Van Praet explores that if you want someone else to completely believe in your idea, you must make them believe that it was their own idea all along. So I'll focus specifically on this strategy, that is understanding how to first plant a seed into a person's head and then lead them to that conclusion that you already hold in your mind. But you need to be able to explain or lead them through these steps very clearly and visually so the other person can imagine it. Now, Sumire is a highly perceptive character in the show, and it's no coincidence that we see she's placed right in the middle of the mind games that happen between Shikamaru and Amado, where the role she plays is to extract information from Amado without really getting Shikamaru's hands dirty directly. So he doesn't have to show how he's like processing or reacting to Amado's actions to keep this disadvantage that he's currently been in, and I feel he's always been a step behind. So knowing crucial information that could give Shikamaru a more clear picture of what happens next is definitely how he needs to move now. So actually Shikamaru finally gets to figure out a way around omnipotence, and finally he actually contacts Boruto telepathically using Ino's abilities to mask his agenda. But isn't this interesting, because you look at how Sumire actually exposed Amado and how he had actually concluded that his memories were already tampered with, and that actually gave Shikamaru incentive. So anyways, let's really get into chapter 12 and let's look at the panel where Boruto directly addresses the NPC sensory ninja, and I think he asks him to focus on the claw marks and call out the slightest movement in chakra. Now, as the NPC Nishi actually responds in shock, gives him a little side eye or something, and he calls Boruto a traitor, Sumire cuts him off and begins planting her seed. Instead of defending Boruto, she switches the focus to the Shinju by bringing up that Hidari has clearly only been focusing on attacking Sadara. I think it's very important to observe and note the differences in how Sumire and Sadara go about communicating Boruto's innocence. Sumire then adds a key point, saying that Hidari has completely ignored Konohamaru. Sadara, who is still processing her experience as she wasn't aware that one of the Shinju would look like Sasuke, adds to the fact that the Shinju revealed to her that his intention was to devour her. Keeping a cool head, I'm assuming she's reflecting on these observations as she noticed every jutsu used by Hidari as her father's, then addressing this elephant in the room. She states, is this somehow related to how her dad turned into a tree? Konohamaru now, who's also following this entire conversation, connects his own dots by bringing up that this is possibly related to also what happened with Moegi. Now, us as the audience, we already understand that Boruto has a full picture around the current situation, but Sumire is also fully aware of this, as she knows that Sadara and Boruto's conversation earlier around the details of the Shinju and what Boruto actually witnessed in that moment never finished, as Mitsuki appeared and then cut this conversation short. I'm sure that Sumire has actually put together the missing pieces that Boruto didn't have a chance to reveal from their last conversation. Konohamaru and I'm vouching this, will be the next character joining the Boruto Redemption Squad. Watching Boruto personally using the Rasengan is very conflicting to him, as he was the one who actually taught this jutsu to him, yet he does remember Kawaki being the person he taught. I think it should also be noted that Ninshi, the NPC Shinobi, was one of the first people to notice an irregularity in the omnipotence between Boruto and Kawaki, which I feel was the slashed eye. But it's clear that it's not affected him, as omnipotence is always on passively just to overwrite or justify any irregularities that happen. But he won't forget how he's just handled protecting them in this moment against the Shinju and the claw grinds, even though he's supposed to be his enemy. And very importantly, he's using Shinjutsu, not technology. I feel people think that you have to have huge effects on events, or you need to do something that's direct or flashy to be considered essential in moving the plot forward or influencing a situation that brings things full circle. With characters starting to feel more familiarity with Boruto, I predict the omnipotence reset, or at the very least, Boruto will start to bring people to his side. Sasuke stated that if you're your father's son, you'll prove who you are with your actions. And Sumire is clearly becoming one of the best characters in Boruto without even throwing so much as a shuriken or saying too many words. Kishimoto right now is out to prove a lot of people who have questioned his portrayal of female characters wrong. Mark my words, and thanks for giving this a look, and let's chop it up in the comment section to see if there's anything more to add. Peace.